Welcome! I would like to thank you all for taking the time to watch this short talk introducing some of the features of the Wolfram Programming Cloud. With the cloud, you can access the same powerful Wolfram Language features our desktop users have been enjoying for years. What you're looking at here is our Cloud Notebook interface that allows you to interactively program and explore the Wolfram Language within a standard web browser, no plugins required. It runs the same version of the Wolfram engine that is in our latest desktop release. To illustrate some of what you can do in the cloud, I thought I would show you how you can plan a summer driving vacation using the power of the Wolfram language. Let's start by picking some interesting places to visit around the country. I'll use Control Equal to leverage Wolfram Alpha and its ability to interpret freeform input. We'll start in Champaign, Illinois, world headquarters of Wolfram Research. I always wanted to see Graceland. Maybe I'll pick up some cowboy boots in Houston, Texas. Get a nice bottle of wine in Napa, California. Catch a show in New York City. See the natural beauty of the Grand Canyon. And finally, Cawker City, Kansas, home of the world's largest ball of twine. Now I can create a map to see the places I may go using our geoplotting capabilities. Now I like saving money and not wasting gas, so I'd like to know the most efficient way to visit all the destinations on my itinerary, minimizing the distance I will have to drive. The Wolfram language has a built-in function for doing just that called find shortest tour. So now I see the order which I should visit all the places I want to see, and that I'll be driving at least 5,667 miles. Exact driving distances are going to be a little longer. I can add this to my map to show where I want to go and how I should get there. Now that's pretty interesting. But I'm not the only one who'd like to plan a road trip this way. Now I can use the cloud to share my planner with other people. I'll start by making a web form that will allow anyone to input locations and generate their own trip map. First, I'll define a function that computes the tour and creates the graphic like the one I just made interactively, reusing much of the same code. So I'll use this to compute the tour. This function actually takes positions rather than places, but it can be made to take places using plain English if I use interpreter. Interpreter is a function that works like the interactive control equal box to convert text into Wolfram language. For geographics, I want locations, so I can use an interpreter specifying a location type like this. Here is how I can use an interpreter on some places to get the locations I need for my shortest trip map function. Okay, so I promised that I would make something that is accessible to anyone over the web. I can do that by creating a form function, which I then deploy. I can create a form that takes multiple places as entries, automatically transforms them using an interpreter, and passes the result to my mapping function to generate the result. Here's a simple form that can do that. Now I can deploy that form to the web. Notice how I don't have to specify any code definitions or dependencies. Cloud deploy can automatically infer what is needed to ensure that the form works, so I don't have to. Let's try it out. Now if I decide to embed that form into another web page, I can use embed code to give me exactly the code I need to do that. There's another way I can share my trip planner so that it is useful if I want to integrate it with, say, an app. I can deploy an instant API rather than a web form and access the same service, but now through a REST web API. The syntax for API function is very similar to that for form function, so I can reuse the rest. Now I can just cloud deploy it. Let's try it out. If I want to call that API from, say, a Java app, I can again use embed code to get the code I need to do that. With the Programming Cloud, you can not only create forms and APIs, you can also create and share documents and interactive content. One easy thing to do is just share a whole notebook, which we can do by choosing Publish Page from the Deploy menu. Now this is viewable by anyone on the web. Here we've shared a static notebook that will allow users to read but not interact with the notebook. We can make things a little more interesting by adding some dynamic content. In this case, a tool to enter two places and see the most direct path between them. If we redeploy the notebook as Cloud CDF, visitors will be able to enter their own places and see a new map. This is just a sample of the kinds of things you can create and deploy in the Wolfram Cloud, and I'd really encourage you to try it out for yourself. You can get started absolutely free by visiting programming.wolframcloud.com and signing up. You'll have access to the full Wolfram language and even some starter cloud credits to try out deploying your own content. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this brief introduction to the cloud. Thank you for taking some time to watch.